Welcome back to Voice from the Corner. Hope you're all well. Hope you're all safe. Now, Pete, we've got some good boxing this weekend. What are you looking forward to personally?
I'll tell you in a minute what I'm looking forward to, but I think we're going to stop calling you Longneck now, and we are going to call you Bart Simpson. Listen, I reckon I can make a few quid with you, taking you about, showing all the kids that there he is, Bart Simpson. He's got the Bart Simpson haircut and everything. Firstly, Friday night terrestrial TV. Let's not forget, guess what? England are playing. And then after that, we've got on Channel 5 a boxing show. Jack's going to tell us a little bit more about that because I don't know too much about it. As we know, boxing is very, very, very highly promoted. Not. Go on, Jack. Tell us more.
Well, look, Friday night, 25th of November at York Hall, Harlem Eubank faces Tom Farrell. Harlem Eubank, 15-0 fighter. Tom Farrell, 21-5. For you, Pete, how do you see that fight going?
It's a good fight, Harlem Eubank and Tom Farrell. Tom Farrell ain't a bad fighter. He ain't a bad fighter. Clever. Scouse kid he is. Good fighter. I fancy Harlem Eubank to beat him on points, but I fancy it's going to be a good fight. Who's on the undercard of that fight? It's terrestrial TV. Come on, we got to see some sort of undercard here.
So Liam Williams is fighting against, and I might pronounce his name completely wrong, Nizar Trimech. I have no idea how to pronounce it, but Liam Williams, 23-4-1. We've obviously seen Liam Williams in the past. We've done a few watch-alongs with his fights. And Nizar is 9-3-2. So for me, it looks like a bit of a mismatch, this.
Well, I think it's just Liam Williams getting back in there after the Eubank loss? I think they're just probably trying to build Liam Williams again there. I don't think there's any harm in coming back when you've had a hard fight, just to see where you're at, in my opinion. Their record ain't too bad on the other kid, but for me, it probably will be a routine win for Liam Williams. But I'm not going to go too heavy into Liam Williams with that fight. Obviously, there's going to be a good chief support on this show or something.
Yeah, look, I mean, Liam Williams has lost his last two. He lost to Demetrius Andre at the time, 29-0. Chris Eubank Jr. at the time, 31-2. Two very good opponents, 12 rounders, lost by unanimous decision. This is going to be a 10-round fight against a much less experienced opponent. So, look, we might see a knockout with this one. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, what we've got to look at as well is, like you say, he's just come off two losses and, probably just wants to come back to winning ways as well. Is it chief support?
Chief support, yeah.
Hopefully this opponent's got a bit about him, because if he ain't, it ain't a decent chief support, is it? We know Liam Williams can fight. But obviously there's got to be some other good fights on the undercard.
Well, look, some of your fighters have been confirmed, how their opponents haven't been. We've got Mohammed, Bilal Ali, Chloe Watson, Lucy Wildheart, Lenny Fuller. Some decent fighters there. But look, their opponents haven't been confirmed.
So their opponents haven't been confirmed. We're on terrestrial TV, a big platform with Channel 5, and their opponents ain't been confirmed. I mean, what have they made these fights over the last 2 days? For me, that's an absolute joke. Let's move on now. I'm more interested in Frank Warren or Eddie Hearn. So Frank Warren versus Eddie Hearn this weekend. We've got a BT show. We will go with that first, the BT show. Tell us more about it, Jake.
Well, look at the O2 Arena. Zach Parker versus John Ryder, main event. Zach Parker, 22-0, undefeated fighter against John Ryder, a more experienced fighter at 31-5. Now, this is going to get a lot of British boxing fans very, very excited. Are you excited for this?
Yes, it's a great fight. That's a great fight. And what I'll say is, listen, again, when we look at people at the highest levels, yeah, if they're fighting someone on a really lower level, I'm not that interested in that fight. But for me, this fight's a very, very good competitive fight, because we'll see now if John Ryder can move on from the Daniel Jacobs fight, which I believe Jacobs still won that fight, in my opinion. John Ryder's a nice kid and that, but you know what? I'm going to go with Zach Parker in this fight. I'm going to go with Zach Parker on points in this fight. That's the top and bottom of it.
Well, look, Zach Parker, he stands at 6 foot with a 74-inch reach. John Ryder is at 5'9" with a 72-inch reach. Do you think that height difference is going to be a massive factor?
I think he'll know how to. I think he'll know how to use the height difference. I think he'll know how to use it. We know John Ryder's very, very good at getting in, but sometimes John Ryder don't work when he's inside, which we see against Callum Smith. Arguably, people say he won that fight, but I still think he could have done more in that fight to make that a lot more convincing. But listen, I'm going with the odds on Zach Parker to beat John Ryder in this fight. I think I can see it. I can see this happening. But he is the underdog. But as I say, I love an underdog as well, Jack. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go with that.
Fair play. Should we go to the undercard now?
Yeah.
Hamza Shiraz, 16-0, fights River Wilson Ben. I love that first name, River. 13-1-1 fighter. Do you know much about these two fighters? And how do you see it going?
Yeah, Azim's a top fighter. I think it's a knockout job. He's class. He is class. You know, the kid is absolute. I've got to be honest with you. For me, he's one of the best prospects we've got in the UK. He's a top fighter. I don't know if you've seen too much of him.
I must have seen him before. 12 knockouts in his record.
Yeah.
Stands at 6'3". His opponent, River Wilson Bent. BoxRec don't even have his height or his reach listed. He's an Orthodox fighter from born in Coventry. 13-1 with 6 knockouts at his record. His last fight was a TKO win against a lad called Ben Thomas, who was 3-17-3.
This for me will be a 2 or 3 round job. Who's next?
Let's have a look. Dennis McCann, obviously a fan favourite for many, will face Joe Ham. Dennis McCann, 13-0 undefeated. Joe Ham, 17-3.
Yeah, Joe Ham. Dennis McCann, not a bad fight. Dennis McCann, top prospect. I like Dennis. He's got a lot of ability. I think he's a level above Joe Ham. I think he stops Joe Ham inside 7 rounds. I think he's going to be too much for Joe Ham. Too much movement, and pick his head off. And he stops him inside 7 rounds.
Yeah, look, Joe Ham is his last fight was against a lad called Ricky Starkey. A fighter who was 2-22 with 2 draws in his record. At the time, he had lost his last 6. Before that, he fought a lad called Jack Bateson. He was 12-0 at the time, and he'd lost after an 8-round fight. So yeah, it looks like Dennis McCann's going to be a big favourite for that. Another fight in the undercards, Sam Noakes, 9-0 against Calvin McCord, 12-0. So someone's always got to go in that fight.
Yeah, what you've got to look at here is Sam Noakes, good puncher, really can punch hard. I want to know what the 12-0 kids are. It's a great 2 unbeaten fighters. Somebody who's got to go. But the 12-0 kid, what sort of fighters has he fought? Has he had anyone on his record with a winning record?
Well, look, he's not a hard hitter. He's got 2 knockouts in his record out of those 12.
Yeah, but the opponents.
I'm having a look at his opponents now. Ismail Illis, 14-5, got the win. Now this is where it gets bad. Blackwood Ali, 2 wins, 89 losses, 1 draw. His opponent before that, 8 wins, 22 losses. Lee Connelly, 7.
Right, we'll leave that there. That's a knockover job. That's another knockover job. So
yeah.
Records are for DJs, as I say. Yeah, go on, carry on. Next one.
Yeah. Pierce O'Leary against Emmanuel, and oh my God, that is a mental name. Mungan Dejela. Yeah. It's a Pierce 10-0 against a fighter 16-3-1. How much do you know about these two?
Pierce O'Leary is a good top fighter, good amateur, top amateur. Again, that's a win for Pierce O'Leary.
Yeah. Now, the next 2 fights are, I think we obviously know who's going to win these just by looking at the fighters. Sonny Ali, 4-0, is going to be fighting Georgi Lichkov, 3-6 fighter. Obviously, that's going to be building up a young prospect, surely.
No, I mean, what we've got to look at here is, so I'm going red and I all the way. I'm going red the whole way. So I'm going the home fighter the whole way in this card.
Yeah. That's how it looks.
Yeah.
Tommy Fletcher, 2-0, is going to be fighting a European fighter called Jiri Kretschy.
Yeah.
1, 2, and 2. So
Yeah.
yeah, look,
I mean, the only debatable fight in that on that show is the top of the bill.
is that? Do you like that though? I mean, you want to see more 50-50 fights on this, or do you just want to see prospects getting built up?
No, I'd like to see more. I'd like to see certain fighters being stepped up at the right time. For me, certain fighters ain't getting stepped up at the right time. You know. So we've gone with the Frank Warren Bill, the BT show. I've seen a lot worse, so it's not the worst show I've seen. Now we go on to Fast Eddie.
Yeah, well, look, this has got, for me, a very exciting main event. For me, exciting. You might disagree. Dillian Whyte versus Jermaine Franklin. This, for me, is going to be a brawl.
I don't know too much about Jermaine Franklin. It'd be interesting to see how Dillian Whyte comes out in this fight. Yeah, come out like Tom Jones against Tyson Fury. Will we see him come out like Roy Jones against Franklin? Very, very interesting that's going to be. Very, very interesting.
It's a slugfest. That's what
it depends. It depends, because is it a slugfest? You know, if he's a slugger, Franklin.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Go on.
Go on.
Well, I was just saying, I've had a look a bit of Jermaine Franklin. For me, there are a lot of holes in his games. I think he drops his hands too low at times. For me, I can see him gassing out. Dillian Whyte obviously looks very good against Povetkin in that second fight. Obviously not very good against Tyson Fury. And just as Jermaine Franklin's big step up.
It's a knockover. It's a knockover job, then, isn't it? So they make the Joshua fight. Let's carry on.
Yeah. Well, below that fight is going to be Fabio Wardley, Nathan Gorman.
Good fight. That should be top of the bill. That should be top of the bill.
That's a 50-50 that.
Very, very good fight. You got someone with a little bit of youth. I don't know what the age difference is, but what I'm on about the youth is I think he's quite relaxed and with his style and that Fabio Wardley. I don't think he's younger than the Gorman, but
Wardley's older.
Eh?
Wardley's a year older.
Yeah, I know that. But I'm saying he's got that sort of style where he's loose and shots come from everywhere and all that sort of stuff. I think if Gorman can stay tight and Gorman outworks him and he's clever because he can punch a little bit, can't he, Wardley? He can punch a little bit. But I fancy a Nathan Gorman stoppage in that fight. But but it's a good fight.
That's interesting. I'm going Wardley on points for that.
Yeah.
I do.
There's gonna be a forfeit. Whoever loses this as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have a forfeit.
Hot chili.
Hey.
Hot chili.
Hot chili or spider.
Hot chili or a spider. Okay.
I'm going for the spider.
We'll let people vote. Okay.
Yeah. Hot chili or spider. Live spider or hot chili. That's the top.
So people know there will be a watch long for that card.
Let's go.
Saturday.
Let's go, Jack. Next one.
Yeah. Craig Richards against Richard Blotnick, sorry.
Blotnick is the one that was in that Super 6, wasn't it? In the MTK Super 6, and I think he upset the apple cart, didn't he?
I'll have a look at his last fight. So he's a Latvian fighter.
Yeah. He won that. He won that golden ticket or whatever it's called.
Right. But, he's lost to Boazzi, TKO in the 11th round. He then fought in Spain and got a unanimous decision win against an undefeated fighter. Obviously, he might have just fought journeymen.
He's tough. He's tough. He ain't bad, but I think Richards is going to have too much in his locker for him, and Richards beats him. But that's a good fight.
Sandy Ryan, 4-1 fighter, is going to be fighting Esther Sanchez, 21-5. That is a big difference in experience there.
Yeah, Sandy Ryan was a good amateur, a very, very top amateur. She was. Again, who is on the record of the other girl? We can't sit here and look at these records of the other girl really because we don't know, who these are. And someone to have 26 fights as a girl yeah, and unbeaten, not unbeaten, but 21 wins or whatever. Jesus, at the end of the day, she's either got to be absolutely unbelievable or she's got to be absolute garbage.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Sophie Brown's got a amateur record of 51 wins and 19 losses. So
yeah, but she boxed for England. She was a top fighter.
Yeah.
She ain't bad, mate. She ain't bad.
Sanchez, the other girl is an Argentine fighter who looks like she's been fighting journeywomen.
Yeah.
She's got a few decent wins if you're just looking at records, but obviously, like you say, records are for DJs, aren't they? So, look, that would be an interesting fight for me. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Right, well, look, after that fight, it's a very interesting undercard because we're seeing a lot of young fighters going up against much more experienced fighters here. We have Shaman Clark, Pat McCormack, Mark Dickinson, all going up against quite experienced opponents. Probably Matt Dickinson's actually going up with someone against 4-2. But look, Pat McCormack is going up against a fighter who's 16-5-2.
Yeah, but let's cut this all down. Let's cut this all down. Instead of like these last three fighters, there was all England internationals, yeah, boxed all over the world, won loads of titles, won loads of stuff, yeah, and basically they're putting them up against opponents that are 16-2 and 6. Listen, all people got to do is go to Box Rec, look at their records, and look at the people they fought. Listen, I'm not saying any of these people should be pushed. Chev Clark, Pat McCormack, or Mark Dickinson. They're all like boxing better opponents than what other people are at that stage of their career, but they should be, and they're top fighters. They're not far off British level, them fighters now. All three of them are not want to be far off British level as we speak. So when we look at that, they're 3 routine wins, probably 3 routine stoppages. Forget the records. Forget, you know what I mean? And the funny thing is, you'll get the MC calling people's records out, because them records ain't as bad as a kid that's had 35 fights and 1 win. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, let's not fake it till we make it, baby. It is what it is, and they're all 3-class fighters, and they can learn. They've only had a few fights apiece, haven't they?
Yeah, for 3-0, 2-0, 3-0. So
yeah, no credit where credit's due. They're still on a learning trail. And let's see where they go when they're fighting people, who's got records that ain't got to be great, but they can fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, look, I'm looking forward to seeing that, Carl, because I'm looking forward to learning about these fighters and just seeing who looks like they're going to have a really good career ahead of themselves. So I'm looking forward to it.
I like Mark Dixon. I like Pat McCormack, good fighters, and Chev Clark. They're all 3 of them are good fighters. So they are kids to look out for. And if they get put in the right direction, who knows where they're going to end up going? Because, like I say, it was all top amateurs. That's the top and bottom of it. So,
we'll leave it there. Just real quick though, before we go, which card are you looking forward to the most?
I'm going to switch in between each show. I want to see that Gorman fight, and I want to see top of the bill. The most excited fight I'm excited about is the BT fight. I'm excited about one fight on that show, and that's that fight. On the Friday, I think Eubank on Channel 5. I think that's a good fight with Tom Farrell. I think he's going to ask a few questions. So I'm looking forward to it. So before we go, Jack is going to do the watch along on the Zone Show.
Yes.
So there'll be a watch along on the Zone Show. So if you want to join Jack, always welcome to join Jack on that. And we'll get I'll be putting my reactions out on that Saturday night, and then we will be putting our show out post fight after. What should we? Sunday, Jack, Sunday evening.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Sunday evening, 6 o'clock. So join us. So who are you interested in? Eddie Hearn or Frank Warren? BT Sport or the Zone? That's the top and bottom of it. Give us your comments on who you're going to be watching. And I'll tell you what, everyone will be watching England on Friday, Because after that 6-2 win, there's a chance they might get out of the group. That's the top and bottom of it.
All right, we're going to stuff America on Friday. It's going to be great. So, yes. All right. Take care, everyone. We'll see you soon.